welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited that you decided to come on back onto this channel. It's the fact that you didn't have to, guys, but you did. That means the world to me. Today is a special installment on this channel. You guys know how it be. One thing about me, I will bring you guys what you want. So you guys can see, you've seen the title of the video, you can see who's on my channel. I'll give you guys the whole backstory, but first and foremost, please do subscribe. This is the first time you are seeing this face. Do subscribe, join this family. Go 90 guys up. I know I've been away for like 3 weeks, but that's another topic for another day. And then what else? Oh, and if you've been here before, welcome. I love you, and I love you. Today, guys, be excited. You guys know this face. If you don't know this face, what are you doing? First of all, if you don't know who this is, what are you actually doing? Oh, she goes by the name of Millennial Mom on this red app. She's Mandy Glagisa on Instagram. She is now my friend, big sis, slash everything. And she is gracing us with her presence, guys, on my channel today. Mandy, hi. How are you? Good. Okay, so we started talking.
It's been a while. Then we stopped talking.
Yeah.
Then I think it was at Awakened where I was just like, can you believe I didn't know it was you?
Are you serious? I didn't even know that you were there. So Awakened conference is the conference that happened in September.
Yes.
I didn't even know that you were there.
Unati was just like, oh, that's it. I was just like, wait.
Hold
I know it. I did not know.
This
you have
was my
such
DM.
a beautiful voice. Like, I had chills throughout your performance. And I kept saying to Unati, who's this girl? She was like, I'm sure you know her. It's said to. And then I'm like,
yeah. You're like, yeah, she's actually in my DMs. I know her. No, because I was in her DMs. I fell in love with your channel a year ago. I was still in my pregnancy at the time, and I fell in love with your channel. I think also I fell in love with your channel because, you know, when you're going through something and you're thinking that what you're going through is like you're the only person that's going through this particular thing, and you feel like, oh my God, so isolated. And a lot of people don't talk.
yes.
And I talk. I express. Sometimes I might overshare, but that's besides the point. But that's besides the point. But I fell in love with the fact that you were so open about your experience, and it made me less scared, if that makes sense. Like, it made me feel like, okay, there are people who actually, number one, they're going through the same thing. Number two, they're open about it. They're not ashamed of it. But number three, they're making it through.
They're living, they're coping.
They're making it through.
It's difficult, but they're
So, number one, thank you for that. Because that I think a lot of women can actually stand with me in saying, it's so empowering to see a woman that isn't afraid to keep quiet. There's something that she actually said. Guys, this is not the topic. Okay? There's a topic. But there's something that you actually once said, and you were like, something about keeping quiet keeps the peace, but then you realized whose peace you were actually keeping. And you were like, no, actually, I'm not going to keep quiet no more because I'm not at peace. Yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of encouraging and it was motivating.
Thank you. I think that I was called to, I didn't, for me, I was just talking. Like you, I was just like, I'm just going to share my experience. But then the more I open my DMs and the more I open my mouth and I open my DMs, all these messages I get from women saying exactly the same thing was similar. And then I realized that I was probably called to heal in public so that others can heal in private. Because, you know, not all of us have to speak, you know.
And also not all of us are called to speak, because some people, when they speak, you're like, but it's like, it's a cringe face, because I think it has to come from a place of, I think you're a very authentic person. Like, literally, I think you're a very authentic person. So when you share your experiences, it's like I'm saying at home, like, yeah, I'm also mad. I'm going to court next week, actually. Like, what does he think? You know, it's not a thing of you weren't in any way coming on here to be malicious. You were just being authentically open and being authentically yourself and authentically just going through. That's what is amazing. That's okay. You're not gonna get emotional. First of all, I'm not getting emotional. We're not doing that. Second of all, the topic that I brought you here for is one that I believe
we need something stronger.
Because I feel it's not just the single mom's problem, honestly. I just feel like it's a pandemic.
It is.
On its own. But we go through the most because of the fact that, okay, it's not as simple as, okay, this is just my girlfriend, or okay, this is just my partner. We have little people that we have to consider. Yeah. We have little people that we have to constantly think about. We have little people that are basically us. Yeah. And if a person is saying, I like you, you need to be like, yeah, but two other mini-me's. I got 2 other mini-me's. You will like them too, you know? So I really wanted to speak to you about that. I mean, I don't prepare questions. I really wanted us to just have an open conversation. I just recently dipped my toe. There's a fly. I just recently dipped my toe in the dating pool, and I'm just like, what did I do?
It's not a pool. It's
a swamp. It's a swamp. And I've just been like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
Like, what did I just
What
do?
are you finding to be the hardest part of it?
I think what I'm finding to be the hardest part is now presenting myself as a partner, as the new version of myself.
Oh.
If that makes sense. Like, I used to be young, spunky. You call me at like 3.
I'm coming.
You know, you like, we're going this weekend. Pack your bags.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Which is an actual issue that I recently had, where someone was like, so this weekend we've booked to Goopy. Let's go. And I'm just like, yeah.
I'm a mom now.
Today's Wednesday. And you're telling me that we're leaving on Friday. I have a little person. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, it's hard now. I get afraid of, oh my goodness, what if people are thrown off or taken aback?
But that's okay. They don't need to be in your life anyway.
They're not the people.
They're not the people. Your people, like I also been single since I broke up with my baby daddy. That was 3 years ago. And then this year I decided, okay, let me try. And then I tried, and then I met this guy who actually doesn't have kids. So I expected him to not understand my situation. But he was the most understanding. Like, he would say things like, I'd like to take you out. Today's what? Wednesday, right? Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday. Yeah.
He would say things like, I'd like to take you out next week, Wednesday. And I'm like,
oh, nice.
You know I need 7 working days, and I love that. So it's just that thing. And then I've met someone else who expected me to be available on call and be like, my nigga, I have a child, I have children.
And then the excuse is that, no, you need to be spontaneous. Spontaneous
I can't.
is fun, but I've got little lives.
I can't. You literally need to give me, now I'm a single mom, I do not have a nanny, I don't know how to help. So I literally have to book my sister to say, okay, next week, Wednesday, can you please, I want to go on a date. But Nakona, you're thinking I'm booking my sister to take care of my children for a date. And then that guilt. Let's just leave it. So yes, I think that, maybe you might be throwing people off by always having an excuse, but your people, your person is not going to have an issue.
So 3 years later, there's still guilt.
I don't think it will ever stop.
Yo!
I don't think it will ever stop, because literally sometimes I mean, like, I'll be sitting on a date with a man and I'm having fun and I'm having conversation, having food, and I'm thinking, yo, I could be home with my kids.
I wonder what they're doing.
What are they doing? Are they thinking about me? Are they missing me? Then I'll text my eldest and she'll be like, we are okay.
Like, we're alive.
Enjoy yourself, you know? But that guilt never stops. And I think it's something as moms we just have to work on, because mommy needs love too.
It never goes away.
It never goes away. Ever.
I used to cry. I'm a lot better now.
Okay.
I used to cry. I used to when I started with this person that I was my first encounter, let me say, where I would just be like sitting with this person and I probably just want to cry and I'm asked to be excused, and then I take my phone and I'm video calling my child and my mom's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what is she doing? My mom's like, what are you doing? Like, there's a man waiting for you, honey. How are you in the bathroom sobbing? What are you doing? You know? So that kind of, it took me a while to get to where I am now. There's still guilt, but it took me a while now to get to a place where, I mean, for example, just last weekend, 2 weekends ago, I went away. I was visiting a friend, but I happened to see this person where I was. He came to visit where I was. And I was like, okay, I'm getting into,
like, you didn't feel like crying
of things. I felt guilty.
Okay.
And I mean, I checked on my daughter every now and again, but I'm now feeling like I'm getting into the groove of things. And I'm also feeling like, you know what? Maybe I do deserve to be happy. Like,
not even maybe, you do. And I think the one thing that society has played a game on us by telling mothers that your children are your everything. Your children shouldn't be your priority. Your children are your priority. Your children are your everything. No, I'm a priority. And when you realize that when mommy is happy, then it flows. When mommy is getting some D, then it flows. You know, when mommy is happy, because for the longest time we stay single and you stay frustrated because I want to be a good present mom. But are you really a good present mom when you are so frustrated because you are pouring and pouring and pouring onto your child who's pouring onto you? And that's where the dating comes in. You have someone who's just, your responsibility, just love princess and love yourself. I'm gonna love you when you love princess. And I think that when you start putting yourself first and realizing that if I'm happy, then automatically my children are happy, then the guilt starts becoming less. I still feel guilty, but it's just I just miss my kids now, but now I don't feel as guilty as I used to. So it was just that switch that we need to do and say, my children don't come first, I come first. So it's not that maybe you deserve to be happy, you actually deserve to be happy. And if happiness isn't no thing.
Actually, I always tell people that is the hill.
If happiness isn't no thing, then take that.
That is the hill I'm willing to die on. But then, okay, how did you find having the conversation, like your first dating experiences when you started dating? How did you find those first conversations with the person that you with? Like, what's the conversation?
So
how soon is the conversation?
Late last year, a friend of mine tried like a blind date hooking me up, and she hooked me up with this guy. She gave this guy my number, and then this guy was just like, oh, trying to chat. And then in our chats, he says something like, oh, can I see you tonight? Then I'm like, oh, my friend didn't tell this man that I'm a single mom. So then I'm like, did this person tell you that I'm a single mom? He was so thrown off. He was just like, no, she didn't. And he literally ghosted me. And my confidence went all the way under my feet, because for the longest time, once again, I'm going to keep blaming society and everything because it is society. For the longest time, as mothers, you're told who's going to love you with these kids. And then the first man, I tried to put myself out there,
I would crumble.
Ghosted me immediately when I told him that I had a child. So I was just like, okay, no, we're not doing this. Then this year came, I was like, okay, let me be intentional. I met the person I'm about to speak about now. I met him at a kiddies party. So I was there with my kids, he's there with his kids. So it's clear that we have children. And he still was just like, yo, can I get your number? So by the time we went on dates and started talking, he knows I'm a single mom. And also I'm very loud about being a single mom on social media. And obviously we stalk each other as people. So the conversation really didn't have to take place much, but there was the conversation of boundaries that took place. There was one time where he came to drop me off at my house, and I didn't realize that one day my eldest was going to be home. When we realized that she was home, he stayed in the car. So it was just that boundary thing, which we both do not meet each other's children. Until we didn't even have an until, and that's another thing for me now, Guti. Okay, when do we start introducing children to you and each other? Because children get attached. So that conversation is scary. They do get attached. And also, what if my kids don't like you? You know, I'm not going to stop dating because they don't like you unless there's a valid reason. But like now it's those conversations where you're just like, okay, then we decided to just leave the kids out of this. We are dating each other.
Do you think it's easier in a situation where you're with someone that also has kids?
I guess yes and no for me, because I have deadbeats. When I date someone who's got kids, I end up being very hard on them because I don't want another woman to experience what I'm experiencing. So that now I end up being the person who's be like, have you called the kids today? Have you spoken to your baby mama today? And I don't want that. That's not my responsibility.
That's true.
So I found that for me, it's easier to date someone who doesn't have kids, because I'm not reminding anyone about, don't forget it's your weekend this weekend, because this man I'm speaking about, he has 3 kids with 3 different women. That should have been a red flag. But luckily, the reason why for me I was just like, oh, we can date is because there's an amazing relationship with all baby mamas, and he sees he's involved in all of the children's lives. But there was a part where I'm just like, oh, now I'm reminding him about, oh, like, because there's one day where he had to wake up at 6 o'clock.
So you guys were in a relationship?
Now that I think about it, it was actually a relationship. We broke up because he said he didn't want a relationship, but it felt like we were in one.
I get that.
So I was just like, okay,
why do they do that?
Games Dala got me for a situation.
I feel like men are so childish. But why do they do that? Because we're pretty much in a relationship, sir. Or they don't want it to be labeled.
He didn't want the accountability. I think he just didn't want the accountability. But for me, I was just like, Dala, he's close to 40. How do you even know the word situationship? Isn't that something from a 2K that they know into?
Isn't that like an Alwandi thing?
Like my daughter should be telling me about that. But yeah, so I prefer personally, and society, people always come at me for this when I say I prefer to date a man who doesn't have children.
You know that I once said that, and then who was I saying it to? When someone was like, was it not my sister? No, it was actually my friend. Where I was, and she was like, but what if your child's father was to come back? And I was just like, no, I'll tell him, no, I don't date men with kids.
Don't they do kids? Thank you. Yes,
I don't want to date men with kids. I don't date men with kids. Thank you for your time, sir. Next. Because you know what? I have male friends that have kids, right? And I mean, I've had a male person who was asking me out who I know the situation, what happened with him and the baby mom and whatever. And he didn't do anything wrong. Don't get me wrong, but I know that he's got a kid. Do you understand? And I know the dynamic, and I know how she is and whatever. And when he then told me that, look, I actually kind of have feelings for you. I don't know why. I was like, but that's not a good thing, Amanda.
It's called preferences. Men can have preferences. Why can't we?
And you know, so right now I'm in a talking stage, right?
Yeah. See, for me, even that, because what is a talking stage?
No, a talking stage, you guys are getting to know each other. Hence, I give all the advice I can get, because I'm in a talking stage with someone who doesn't have kids. He doesn't. He would love to have kids, but then it's like there's parts where I feel like it would have been easier. Like this person would understand what I'm talking about had he had kids. Do you understand? Like things like you wanting to call me after 9 p.m.
But can I tell you something? He wouldn't understand where you're coming from, because he's the man and he's the father, and father's roles and mother's roles are not the same. So whether you're dating a man with kids or a man without kids, men are hardly in their children's lives anyway. They hardly know what's happening. Right. And even if they lived with the kid, he's not as involved as the mom. If we were dating each other, I would understand not to call you at a certain time. I would understand that I have to plan in advance. But he doesn't live with a child. So whether he has a child or not, this man that I was with 3 kids, he didn't live with any of them.
Okay, because even with the one I'm telling you about, he wasn't living with he actually moved to Cape Town. So him and I were kind of getting to know each other, and he was in Cape Town. So I could understand that, because he was also like, he wants to chat, like
because he doesn't live with a child. So basically my advice is, don't shut this one out just because you feel like he doesn't get you because he doesn't have a child. Even if he had a child, it would still be the same, because...
And for me, it's I also became very attracted to the fact that he wasn't thrown off or taken aback by the fact that I've got a child. And it could be because he made me through someone, and that person made me while I was pregnant. So that person knew when I was, and then I was around that person while I was pregnant, and he happened to be there. So he knows that, and I had a ring on. So all this time he's thinking, no, she's. So as soon as he found out that, okay, I'm no longer married,
he was like, here's my chance.
He was like, here's my chance. But he's always known that I've got a child, because when he met me, I was pregnant. So I guess it becomes easier like that. But I had a similar situation. I met a guy on Tinder.
First mistake is meeting a man on an app. I was actually having, before you even get to your story, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and I said, I understand why women are on dating apps. I completely understand why we as women are on dating apps, because we don't do the approaching. As a man, why are you on a dating app? Why can't you just come up to me and tell me, hey sister, can I get your number?
Lazy. I think they're lazy.
So for me, I don't trust men on dating apps. I'm just like, whether you just want balance.
Men on dating apps, true. But with this particular one, it wasn't even a thing of he wanted bumps. I think he liked me, but started liking me just a little bit less as soon as I told him about the child.
You see,
and the thing is, It's on my profile. So we're talking.
So they don't read.
That's when I realized, okay, they don't read. They look at pictures.
Look at
Like,
pictures.
I like. You understand what I'm saying? Then we moved the chat to WhatsApp. The chat on WhatsApp, it's broadening for everyone. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna go to bed early. My daughter and I, it's bedtime, whatever. And he was like, oh, your daughter. And I was like, yeah. As we had some technical difficulties, so back. So the chat started dwindling, and that's when I realized it was okay. The conversation needs to be soon, and you need to be sure that the person kind of understands that. Look, this is because I used to ask my sister the same thing as well. My sister got married with 2 kids, and I used to ask my sister the same question as well. That how soon do you have the conversation? She's like, you don't waste time.
Off the bat, yeah. If you could take your kids to the date.
Yeah.
So
honestly,
this is me.
Honestly.
But it's so crazy. I'm on TikTok. I'm on the relationship side of TikTok. And they always say, well, it's American TikTok, so maybe the culture is different. The American girls always say, you don't need to tell anyone that you've got kids. He doesn't even need to know that you've got kids. And I'm just like,
but how?
Maybe the American culture is different because how do I not tell you off the bat? For me, I'm also just
but
off
also
the bat.
your children are so much part. Like for example, my daughter is so much a part of me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Like how do I tell you? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't go on a date with you next weekend because I've got a play date with Setu. If I didn't disclose that I've got children, also for me it's such a big thing to hide. And
you feel like you're being malicious.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're being weird. It's the same thing as like when I'm on a date and I feel, as soon as I feel that, okay, this person is not going to make sense in me and my daughter's life. You can already tell, like just by conversation. For me, I'm already feeling iffy just sitting here with you. That's how big of a part my daughter is to me. I'm already feeling weird just sitting here with you because I can already tell you're not going to make sense.
You're not a good culture fit.
Yeah, you're not going to make sense.
Yeah.
You understand? Not to say I'm dating someone who I want to come and be a father to my... No, absolutely
And that's
not.
another thing that men like to think when you tell someone that I've got kids. They now start thinking, oh no, I need to play daddy. No, our children have fathers, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, my children don't have, even with that, my children don't have fathers.
Yeah.
Their fathers are not involved. But I still don't want another man to come and be a father.
Yeah.
I don't even want you to meet the kids. But
I don't.
Men are so quick to just be like,
you are
no,
here
you've
for
got
me,
kids.
Booty.
They're thinking that they need to provide for the kids. No, just provide for me. You are
here for me. But then it's important. Hence I'm saying, Booty, I'm not asking you to come and be a father, but I need to see that you're someone I can even bring my children around. Do you understand? Because kids see those things.
Yeah.
Especially when you're raising girls. I don't know, I'm very iffy because I've got a girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very iffy about that because whoever you bring in as a male I feel in your daughter's lives, that person not necessarily becomes the blueprint or whatever, but
I get you.
They're one of the first males who introduce to them before they become grown women. So you need to bring a man that you are proud to say, okay, I can introduce you to my daughter.
Oh, definitely.
I would think even if you have a son, it would be
yes.
the same
I think if you have a
thing.
child, like you're always thinking, what kind of role, not like of a better term, role model would you be? What kind of role are you modeling for my children? Because I think for me, what's important is I don't want a man to come parent my children or come be a father to my children, but I want him and I to love each other to a point where I show my children that love lives.
Yeah.
And there's nothing nicer than watching your mom being loved down.
That's, I think I said that in one of my previous videos actually, that I'm so cautious now about who I'm gonna be with, because that's gonna be my daughter's first example of seeing
mommy being loved or mommy being abused.
And she needs to have a good picture of what it is to
because
see
that
love.
forms now her idea of what love will look like for her. And unfortunately for most of us, I'm lucky my parents are still together, but I didn't grow up in a home when they were both in the house. So I didn't see I'm seeing my mom being loved now because my parents 35 years later decided they want to live together. But for the longest time, my mom was just like, my mom was the typical black woman, like she put the children first, like no man. I'm like, that's our dad.
Dude, what do you mean no man?
No man. She was just like, no man.
Dude, what do you mean no man?
And I was just like, I'm seeing my mom being loved, but unfortunately I didn't see that growing up, and as a result I didn't know what love is supposed to look like, what it's supposed to feel like. I was just in these tumultuous, abusive relationships. Not to blame, obviously, the lack of my parents loving each other in front of me, but I feel like if I saw it modeled, I would have had an example. So it's very important to see for your children or your child to see you being loved, and then they see, okay, that's how it's supposed to look like.
And I think that's also one thing where the reason why I'm opening myself up now is that I also don't want my child to see her mom as this woman who's just always just lonely, who's just always alone.
And another thing we forget is that there's gonna come a time where she leaves the house.
And then what?
And then, because your life has been so wrapped around her, you will not allow her to live her life. You will choose which school. You won't even want her to go to race. You will want her to live at home. You won't. I've seen it with some of my friends where their mothers never dated.
In my life. I've seen it, Mina, in my life. We spoke about the person while I was doing your makeup, so I get what you mean.
Like to a point where I've got friends who are now trying to hook their mothers up with men because you need to leave me alone. Like you need to. But on the mother's side of it, mommy didn't date because mommy wanted to prioritize you. But eventually she needs to be.
And she forgot that now and now
you're gonna have your own life, you know. So that it's very, very important. Mommy needs to have a life outside. Being a mother must not be your personality.
So are you open to being with someone who wants more kids?
So that's how I was saying it's good and bad to date someone who does already have children and to date someone who doesn't have kids. So the bad part for me of dating someone who doesn't have kids is that he's gonna want kids. And you know, men always want kids of their own.
So you don't want kids?
At this current juncture, I do not want any more children. But on the same breath, I do crave. Both my pregnancies, I've had to go through them alone, and they were very difficult. So I do crave a healthy pregnancy. I would like to know what that feels like. I would like to know what it's like to go to the gynae with your partner and not your sister or your friends. Shout out to my sister and my friends. They were big.
Shout out to
amazing.
Our friends.
But like, now I want to know what it's like to have a partner. I want to know what it's like to have my man hold my hand while I'm being cut open. To have I had a little bit with my second daughter. We lived, me and her dad lived together for a couple of months, and it was so nice. And I mean, that turned out horribly, but like, I want to have that. So now I'm caught between, now I just want a child to experience the good side of it, or do I really want a child?
That's a whole human. I don't
and that's what you say.
That's a whole human,
I'm bringing a whole human for an experiment.
I'm actually laughing while you were talking because somebody posted a mom and a dad. This girl took a selfie. It was her and the babies in the middle and the partner, and they're watching a movie, and it's a South African couple.
Yeah.
And you know these South African memes basically saying what this
feels like.
And I'm like, wow. And then hit home, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So I kind of
Are you done?
No.
Okay. So you can still experience it.
I'm a lot more fearful now. And I feel that I'm a lot more nitpicky about certain things, as I should, but I feel Uguti, it's also hindering me from actually experiencing someone who genuinely saying I would love to start a family. Not to say that there's someone who wants to start a family also. Hypothetically speaking, but I think about it and I was like, okay, what if I was to be with someone and we're together for a full year and they say, okay, let's start a family? I would give that person a hard time. I can already tell I would give that person a hard time because I was in a situation where this person wanted a family. This person literally begged. And then it's like, okay, here you go. And then this person's like,
but I think then the coming in is that understandably you still have PTSD, and the important part now is to make sure you're not bleeding on this potential partner. Yeah, so now you're bleeding on him and he didn't cut you. So now it's just a matter of let's try then to deal with the fact that I was left by someone who promised me, but also understanding that not everyone's going to do that. It's a very difficult thing to go through. For me personally, it's even harder because 2 men in 12 years You're 12 years, my children are 12 years apart, but 2 men did the exact same thing to me. How?
Honestly, that's what I think, because
but now
what is this?
How do I trust that a third man is not going to do the same? So it's just now shifting that thing. Guti, yes, 2 men did me dirty with my children, but it's just believing that there are good people out there. And also, I always say this, representation matters. Like seeing other, like you said, was it your sister who got married with 2 kids?
Yes.
So seeing that, but it's actually can happen.
Yeah.
So you're not, like, because society shuts us down. Oh, I mean, like, guys, I've got 2 children with 2 men. You don't know how many times a day I'm told no one's going to love me.
Yeah.
With my 2 kids and 2 different baby daddies. I'm always just being invalidated and shut down. And sometimes I internalize that. But sometimes I hear other women in my DM saying, girl, please, I met my husband with 4 kids. And then you're like, there we go. These are the stories that we need to
Because my
hear.
mom also met my dad. She had a daughter. But my dad had a daughter as well. So I've got 2 half sisters.
Okay.
So my dad's daughter, we drove, and then whatever, okay, then they had me.
Okay.
And they got married and they had me. So I do feel that yes, there is love out there, but I still have,
fear, and understandable.
that fear.
Understandable. And I don't even know if it'll ever, no matter how much you heal, it will always be in the back of your mind.
I wanted to actually ask that, Uguti, at what point in your healing journey do you then feel, Uguti, yeah? Because I feel, Uguti, there was a point in my healing journey, I was in therapy and all of that, where I felt, Uguti, okay, now I'm ready to open. I am craving that affection from yes, I've got affection from my daughter, I've got affection, but there's that affection, guys, where you're like, yeah, now I'm ready. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I got to that point, but do you feel that we need to, because I also feel like healing is like such a long
Yeah, like it's like a lifelong thing. Like you can never sit and be like, I'm healed.
So I think it's important then, do you then speak with that person about those things?
I think if you're
how do you do it without
comfortable,
making them feel like, girl, I didn't hurt you.
Yes, but I think maybe there's a little bit of delusion in me because I'm such a believer of the person for me. Nothing I say will make them feel some type of way, And it's so sad. This person that I was in a relationship with, like literally, we'd have those honest conversations, even about telling him that I'm scared of moving forward and having children because 2 men have left me, and also I'm scared of having children with you because you've left 3 women.
You just spoke that to him.
Yeah, no,
I feel like that's where I'm stuck now.
No, I said it to
him. Where
him.
it's like we talk about everything else, but I'm so afraid to get to that part because I don't want him to look at me and be like, yo,
And if he looks at you and be like, yo, that's okay. Rather he looks at you being yo, now than 5 years later, because how you're feeling won't change. You always feel this way, and the more you because now it's unfair on him that you're carrying all of this and he doesn't know. It's just let it out. If he reacts a certain way, then okay, this is not my person. And chances are also, we live in our heads a lot. Chances are he probably won't even respond in that way. As much as he might not have kids, he's been hurt before. And he knows what it's like to try to move on while still trying to heal. Surely he can understand where you're coming from, I think sometimes, Nati, as single mothers, we cut ourselves before.
We do.
We cut ourselves before we let that. We're just like, well, I'm a mom of 2, no one's going to love me. There's a line of men waiting to love you.
Self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage because you have this illusion of control because you feel like, oh, I know how this is going to end. You don't, Or sometimes self-sabotage because you internalize what other people tell you about you. Or you internalize your past trauma and your issues. God, there's someone who's just waiting to just love you as you are. And I get to know that there's people like that exist when you haven't experienced it.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. But you know what? It's so crazy because I've had cute puppy love before. I've had experience even before my child's father, where I've had relationships where I was in love. Like I know what that feels like, right? But now you get to a space where you're like, there's no way I can ever experience that again. Like I literally feel myself getting in that space where I'm just like, there's absolutely no way I can experience that again. Now I've got like so much baggage now, and now someone is going to have to give themselves fully to me, and also because men also are insecure about the fact that there's a daddy.
Yes.
And in my case, my child's daughter is very much involved in her life.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like for example, I'll make a practical example. I'll be speaking to a guy, and then I'll be like, yeah, my child just left. Her dad came to pick her up. And then he wants to know, oh, so what happens when he comes to pick her up?
I just think that we live in a society where deadbeatism is so normalized,
yeah,
that healthy co-parenting is just something y'all don't see.
It's looked at weirdly.
Like, what do you mean? What happens when my child's father comes and fetches him?
I remember I was speaking to someone, and he pointed this out as like, this is an actual problem for him. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, no, because let me tell you the story. Let me make you laugh. Should we not pause? Amanda, how many minutes?
Let's pause.
It's 1. Should we not pause and start over? Oh. Okay,
it is nice.
Let me tell you the story. Let me make you laugh. So he calls me. He video calls me. It was on a Friday. The daughter was going to get picked up. No, it was still during the time they were fetching her on Saturdays. Right? So he calls me, and I'm in a dock. Right? This is someone, he was a little bit older, and he's like Kosa, like very Kosa. So I'm wearing a dock, and I was in a dress, like one of my summer dresses. And he's like, yeah. So I was like, yeah, no, he came to come fetch Princess, so at least I'm free now, whatever. And he was like, so he fetched Princess, you were looking like that. I'm like, what do you mean?
Am I supposed to look ugly?
He's like, and I looked pretty cute. Also, I love looking cute in general, right? This is what I'm saying, guys. Masawai again, even though we love them,
that is very insecure. What do you mean he came?
And then I was like, yeah. He's like, no, like you're wearing a dog, and in my culture, when you're wearing a dog, it's a form of respect.
Yeah.
So clearly, you still have respect for Kosa. Clearly, you
still
have respect.
And that's my heel.
I know how much. And I was like, yeah. And that day he came with his mom. So I was like, yeah, my daughter was so excited to see her granny. She's like, oh, who's in the mama Zala? I'm like, no, I don't have a mama Zala. I don't have a mama Zala. So he's like, oh, that's why you're wearing the dog. I'm like, sir, first of all, you video called me before with me having a dog.
He's insecure. He had to go.
Like, no, he
had to go.
And I was like, but sir, I'm confused now. He's like, yeah, so what happens when he comes? So what's the conversation? I greet him. I give him his daughter. They play for a bit. He gets in the car. I give him the bags.
And
they reverse it and leave. That's all it is. And he's like, oh. So there's also that dynamic of the fact that some men are also uncomfortable with the fact that there's another guy. And I was just like, as opposed to what?
But there'll always be, and that's what I'm saying. I saw this post on Facebook not so long ago talking about how it's so stressful to date a baby mama who's got a present baby daddy.
Why?
Because the child, you try to give the child a toy and they'll be like, oh, my daddy bought me a PS5. This is nothing. Actually, this is nothing. So they prefer to date single mother with deadbeats. And for me, I'm just like, you guys have normalized deadbeatism so much that when you see a healthy co-parenting situation, it scares you because you are insecure.
And you need a deadbeat in order for you to feel
like a man.
Come on.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
Now, my ideal situation is, if I date a man with a child, my ideal situation is I need my man and his baby mama to be friends.
My sister has that.
I need to see that. I need to see that healthy friendship.
It's actually wild because even her baby daddy, the father of her 2 kids, and her current husband, I remember the first time, because we're not used to this, right?
Yeah.
When she had just met her, when they were still engaged. So she would tell me that, no, when he's here, he comes, he fetches the kids, they greet each other. You hear it and you're like, no.
Man. No.
And I remember the one time the baby daddy came to fetch the girls and my brother-in-law was there. And automatically you're like nervous because you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He walked in, my brother-in-law greeted him, and they started talking about the football. Apparently there was a match that was happening, and they were and I was just like, what? And I was just like,
that's how it's supposed to be. That's what I want, guys.
Crazy.
And now imagine your child. Let's say you and your baby daddy. You and your baby daddy have this amazing relationship, and then you've got your own husband. Maybe he's got kids and he's got an amazing relationship with his baby mama. Now your children have like 4 parents. How nice is that?
And it's crazy because I always think of that. I used to have a hard time with letting my daughter go on weekends. But now I think of it and I'm like, she basically has 2 homes
Yes,
filled with love.
lovely, and they filled with love.
And she now gets excited when she sees the car on Fridays
Yeah.
because she's like, oh. And I can also tell, you can tell when a child doesn't want to
Yes.
go. And you can tell when a child is not being loved.
Yes.
And now I see her getting excited when she sees her granny or when she sees her dad. And it's like, girl, you're lucky. You get to have 2 fun homes.
2 fun
Two
homes.
fun homes.
Now
filled
imagine
with
your
love.
baby daddy gets married and you get married. Now you have
That's
4
wild.
parents. You have 4 parents.
And you
How
siblings
amazing.
and all of that.
Whatever. But because we're not used to seeing that, when we see it, we just like, it's just an insecurity thing that we need to work on. And that's why for me, if I date a man with kids, I'm gonna need him and his baby mama to be friends. And if they're not, I can't be in that situation because I never want another woman to go through what I go through.
That's true.
You know, I've got 2 baby daddies and both their wives have made it clear that
That's
me
true.
and their husbands could never co-parent. You know, yes, I'm not blaming the wives because it's up to them. It's up to my baby daddies, but the wives have played a huge role in making sure that my kids don't have fathers. And I'm not about to do that
Also,
to
how do
another
you live
woman.
with that guilt?
I need to know the problem.
How do you live with
It's
that
not the
guilt?
first. It's not even guilt because I need to know your home is warm. Your home is nice. You
Somebody
don't care.
actually once asked me how would I feel if my child's dad was to move on and find love again and get married. And I was actually like, I'd actually be very happy for him. Because he's such a good dad. I can only imagine when now he's being loved.
Yes.
And he'll probably be
a better
extra.
dad.
I just feel Uguti, when we do date or when we open ourselves up to dating or open ourselves up to love, I think it just, not to say we need other people to help us be good parents, but there's something that love does, man.
Oh, you definitely.
There's something that
Definitely.
love does. And yes, this person failed as a partner. And yes, I might have a baby daddy. Yes, absolutely. And you and I are dating. But that does not stand in the way of the fact that he's a good dad.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's a conversation that I feel I because of that past experience where the person was a bit iffy about someone coming to fetch his own child and being weird, I sometimes worry, is that actually a thing? Do men actually sit and be like, yeah, I feel like now I'm in competition with the baby?
It is a thing.
What?
I did a similar video last week with my friend Unati, and she's got an amazing relationship with her co-parent, and one of the things that she said was something very similar to what you're saying, that the minute she says, oh, BRP, my baby daddy's here, it's a, what do you mean your baby daddy's here? What do you mean my baby daddy's here? I have a child.
I have a child and he's got a dad.
I've got a baby daddy. And that's why I keep reiterating, deadbeatism has been so normalized that men can't fathom the fact that other men are present in their children's lives.
I think it's so wise what you say. That shows that that's not the man. Because in order for you to feel like a man, there needs to be a child that is hurt. In order for you to feel like you can come on and be a man. That worries me.
It needs to be a child that is hurt and also you.
Yes.
Because for me,
then you must feel like you're coming in as a superhero.
To save me. Because for me, I've got deadbeats, and that didn't only hurt my children, also hurts me.
Yes.
So for you to be man of the
like
house,
you can show up as a man.
That needs to have happened.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah. I think also that's what. I mean, in my current talking stage, I haven't had those kinds of problems. But I think it's also because I've just avoided that chat because of my past experience. Even when my daughter's being picked up. Like I remember this past weekend actually, we were having a conversation, my daughter was being picked up. And I was like, oh, no, she just got picked up. I don't mention the fact that it was by her dad, you know, because now I'm just like, yo, what if this one is also just like, oh, so he just comes there. You know, like,
you see now that frustrates me because now you're not being your full authentic self. Now you have to hold off some information to make someone feel a certain way. But in this instance, it's a bit unfair because you don't know how he would react. But you're just operating from that. You're operating from a place of fear because it has happened before and it's understandable. But it's not that thing, Wuti. Now I can't even say how amazing my baby daddy is because we're not.
I can't even tell
you. You cannot come to me and be like, yeah, I did it by myself. No, we should normalize healthy co-parenting, and I love that you have that, and I'm always envious of my friends who have that because I'm just like, guys, this is what we need to do. That's why for me, that since I can't have it with my own children, I'm gonna make sure that the man I end up with either doesn't have children at all, or if he does, I'm gonna make sure that you're any baby mamas. Baby mama or baby mamas, I'm gonna make sure that you're good. Even if it means me self, I'm putting in that responsibility on myself to Call a family meeting, but Nina, you're gonna get along.
Yeah, you guys going.
You're gonna fix this for the sake of the children.
Fix this.
Because let's say for me, my biggest thing is I never want a man to come in my space and play this father figure to my children when there are other women who are suffering because you're not playing father figure to their children.
That's true.
They're actually your biological children.
Do you know that I have an issue in general with just a man coming in to play a father figure?
I think in eventually, like if you want marriage, eventually he's gonna. I mean, we're gonna have to live in the same house. And my dream is always I want my man to come with his children and my children and all live in the same house.
Do you know that me and my child's dad actually once had that conversation?
Yeah.
And he said to me, he was like, obviously, that's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah.
But he does not want the man to feel like he's coming in to be a father because the kids have it.
It's a bonus dad. It's a bonus father.
And it was wild to me because I would not imagine, especially with the men that we're dealing with right now, a man who's going to just come in and be like, I think with my sister it was easier because my brother-in-law is a little older, and he also had a daughter at the time. The niggas we are dealing with right now,
the batch of men that God sent.
This batch is something is wrong with this batch.
Rotten. Guys, the dating pool is horrible, and I think it's worse for single mothers, but I think it's just horrible in general for women, especially black women. I remember this other chick was just like, have you tried dating outside your race? And I was just like, ew.
First of all,
I love black men.
First of all, not that guy's name. Power to unity. We love.
Yeah.
You know what?
But relationships
it's a matter
okay.
of preference.
Preference for me. I was just like,
I'm sorry.
I don't want to date outside my race, but the way things are going, I'm like, I love black men, and I'm like, but black men don't love us.
They don't.
They don't like us.
Do you know? I'm convinced that they actually hate us.
I'm convinced as well. It's an underlying issue that they need to sort out and they need to deal with. They do. They really, really do, guys. And they actually, it's a deeper. That's another conversation, and it goes back, probably back, and it's underlying issues. But like, I'm just like, but white people hate us too. Like, so when you say date by outside marriage, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, I love black men. Sadly, black men don't love us.
They actually hate us too. When does the black woman win?
Never. Who's that politician? American?
When does the black woman win?
Malcolm X who said black women are the most disrespected and unloved.
We never win.
No, we never win. We never win. But with that being said, I still feel like I've been scorned. I've been hurt. I think we all have. But ikona man into eti uyazundwam, and I will know, and I do not have to shrink myself, and I do not have to not be myself to accommodate him. Uyeza. And the reason why I believe that is because I've actually had an amazing relationship in my past before. It didn't work out for other reasons, but
with the kids,
with one kid
at
that time.
Okay.
It didn't work out for other reasons, but
something to reference.
That man loved me. Yes.
Yeah.
When you're just like, that man loved me. Like
If he
would
wanted
never.
to, he would.
He would. So because I had that experience, I know that it exists. There are men out there who can love you down. It's just that currently in my radius, I'm baboni. Like I'm baboni
Now
at
in
all.
my radius, I don't see them guys. No offense to the guy I'm currently talking to, but
Does he watch your channel?
I have no idea.
Well,
I have no
doesn't.
idea. I have no idea, but it's just it's no. Now he will understand. Who's scared, guys? Who's scared?
No, it's scary.
Because it's just like, what are we actually doing? You know, and now he knows that I'm afraid to tell him about. Wow.
But I think about it.
Watches my channel.
Think about it this way. I'm a couple of years older than Setu, and I'm not sure how old your audience is, but for me, what I've noticed is the older I get, the better I handle heartbreak. So basically, it's okay. Put yourself out there. If it breaks your heart, it's okay. You'll handle it better.
Thank you for
And you'll handle it better, and you're gonna try again. It happened when we were kids. When in my 20s, Jesus, I wanted to kill myself. Now I'm like, the older you get, the more you know yourself, and the more you know that it's not personal. Whatever happened here, it's not personal. It's not about me. Because when we're younger, we personalize everything. Oh, it's me. He hates me. No, he's got his own things that he's dealing with, and it didn't work out. And you regulate your emotions better when you're older. The older you get, so give it a try. If it ends in a year, in 2 years, go through our heartbreak, we'll drink our wine, we'll cry, we'll call our girlfriends, we'll eat our ice cream, then we get back into it.
With my current talking stage, you know that I've ended things twice with him.
And that's you, but that's
and
you
it hurt me.
yourself.
And it hurt me. And now I'm just like, but why did I do this to this person? And then he's also just like, why?
Yeah,
twice already.
It's that thing we spoke about earlier, the self-sabotage to protect yourself, you know. But I think just ask yourself, what are you protecting yourself from? Heartbreak, that's inevitable.
Facts.
Like whether it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 2 months from now, have fun in the moment. You deserve all the love. Being a mother doesn't make you less valuable than not being a mother. You still deserve all the love. And for all the other young mothers who are watching out there, being a mother does not stop you from it. If anything, being a mother makes you better.
Why do you not have a podcast?
Oh.
Why do you not have a podcast at this point? Because what is going on? Wow.
No, guys, do not let society play a number on you. I let society tell me that no one's going to love me with 2 kids and 2 baby daddies. I internalize that up until I started therapy, and my therapist just, unpacking things with me. But it's so unfortunate because we live in a world where we are told every single day that, guys, when I look at Facebook, Facebook is the most ghetto social media app out there. Look at the conversation. God, James, would you date a single mother? Why are you always talking about single mothers? Always talking about single mothers, and there are men out there who don't even care that you've got 2, 3 kids with different baby daddies, as long as you don't care about it. And I think because we care so much that, but I'm a mom. Yeah. You are now putting it on someone else. You haven't even given them an opportunity to show you that they care. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, on my last thought, do not let society play a number on you. Do not let people, especially men and older people, men and older women. Older women are the gatekeepers of patriarchy. They love telling us that no one's going to love us. They love telling us to go back to our baby daddies. They love telling us we should have chosen better men.
They love telling us we should have begazela.
Because that's what they did, But do not let society tell you that no one's going to love you with your kids. Trust me, there are men out there going to love you with them kids, 3, 4, 5 kids. They love you. And that's all that matters. And you are lovable and you're worth the love. Being a mother doesn't make you less worthy.
That's true. Yeah. That is so true. Guys, I don't have anything more to say.
I just
want her to get a podcast.
I just feel like after this, I'm going to need her to call her talking stage and apologize for a few things.
And him and I aren't talking right now for something that's while you're talking, I'm just like, what?
Guys, also, for those ones who are in relationships who watch Seth's channel, I was telling her earlier, if he doesn't cheat on you and he doesn't abuse you, you can work things out. Stay. There's nothing in the streets.
There's actually nothing in the streets.
There's nothing. Even now you're at a certain stage, he doesn't cheat on you and he doesn't abuse you.
I think it's just a self-sabotage thing. It's fine. I'll give him a call. I'll call you. Okay, fine. I'll call you guys. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me.
Thank you.
You just literally opened my mind to so many things, and I feel like there's so much more to this conversation.
There is. And also, I also want to tell you that don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself some grace. You have been hurt. As much as I'm like, stop self-sabotaging. It's natural. You have been hurt. Give yourself some grace. Don't be hard on yourself. But whatever you do not forget that you deserve the love. I heard you earlier you said, maybe I do deserve to be happy. It's not like maybe. Maybe it's a question.
You do.
That's it. You do. And if you happiness level isn't attaining, go get your man, girl.
Yo, and the one thing about me, guys, I know most people here, but one thing about me, I believe in
Into
That's where we're gonna end this video. That's where we're gonna end this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you got something from this video.
Of course. Every conversation we get something, and I was about to say that we'll do part 2 next year.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it won't be a talking stage anymore. You will be saying, my man. Guys, I'm stressed.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming onto this channel. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you for
coming here. This is someone, guys, I was watching and I was just like, oh my goodness, I love her. Now she's sitting right here. Because one thing about me, I will be in your DMs. I will be in your DMs, honey. But thank you so much for coming. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And maybe next year that podcast, eh?
You're the second person to say that.
Maybe think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, these podcasts that we're hearing these days, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
There's so much wisdom. And I also feel like with what you said, I think with age, like I'm approaching my 30s.
Yeah.
I'm 27, 28 next year. And I'm realizing a lot of like what you're saying, it comes with a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And one thing about the heart, it will break, but it breaks so much harder when you're still young.
Yeah, it breaks my heart. And also, I always tell most of my friends are young, and always say that to them, but you've had heartbreak before and you didn't die. Why are you so scared now? And before you had
scared.
You had heartbreak before and you didn't have the knowledge and the experience. Now you know exactly what heartbreak feels like. Heartbreak feels like death. Oh my God. My last heartbreak took me back to my mother's house. I moved back home after my last heartbreak. But you don't die.
My last heartbreak took me back home.
That's why I'm here. So both of us, our last heartbreak took you back home. But my thing is, if you survived the heartbreak when you were 18, 19, 20, and that was your first one, and you didn't have any reference or any experience, what makes you think you won't survive now? Because now you want, like, not to minimize a relationship breaking down, it hurts like hell, but you survived it and you didn't die.
But do you know, okay, we're closing, guys. Just one more thing. Do you know that, like, the reason why I'm also avoiding heartbreak is because the way I'm set up, the kind of person that I am, I'm a lover, né? And when I'm hurt, I hurt cool.
Yeah.
And when I got hurt the last time I was pregnant, and to a point where I got so hurt, it affected my BP, it affected my sugar levels. I had to get an emergency C-section. Sometimes I worry if I open myself up to someone right now, and that person happens to hurt me, will that crash not affect my child?
Definitely will. That's
what I worry about now.
But it will always affect your child. So what are you saying? Are we going to wait for Princess to be 18?
And honestly, it affected her while she was in my stomach. So
she survived. And also now, are we gonna wait for Princess to be 18 to leave the house before you start dating?
Guys, just don't hurt us. Don't hurt us. Okay?
I think yes. Don't.
But if you're watching this, just don't hurt me.
Don't hurt her.
Don't hurt me, Pooty. Yeah. I'm still young. Okay, we're done now. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for this journey that we're starting. We do need a part 2.
We do.
We are going to have another video on your channel.
Yes. I'm hoping that when we do our part 2, I'm also loved up. I was telling my friend.
Someone to reference.
I was telling my friend, I was just like yesterday, I was just like, it's the first time in my life where I feel like I've got it all. Like I'm good. Financially, I'm good. My kids are good. Emotionally, I'm good. My money is, like I mentioned, my money is good. Emotionally, my mental health is good. But now that I've got all of the things that I ever wanted, I'm starting to crave a companion. Like I'm just like, I think it was last night. I'm just like, what's the delay?
I also, don't look at me. I don't have a companion. I have a talking stage, but I
just have a talking stage. Because it's like last night it rained so much, and I was with my friend, and I'm just like, I don't even have anyone to call in the rain.
That's
sometimes when it's raining, it's just like, hey stranger.
Yeah.
I don't even have it. I mean, I'm sure if I reached out to 1 or 2 people, but I think my heart's not there.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hey stranger, but it's just the thing. But you're so single.
You're not a casual dater.
No, I'm not.
You're just like me.
Turn.
You're
go
just
get
like me.
Romance.
I'm actually convinced you're my sister now.
We are.
No,
I can't.
No.
That's why for me, I understand the talking stage. I don't understand the situationship. What are those terms?
I also don't understand situationships, but talking stage, I feel like it's a very important stage. Also, remember, I've always skipped that stage.
Same.
Everyone I've met,
Same.
Everyone I've met,
for
example, my relationship before my child's father, we just jumped into it, and it was like a 3-year-long relationship. And then my child's father came, we just jumped. He didn't want to hear anything. He was like, "You're my girl." And there was no talking stage, there was no let's go on dates, there was no let's get to know each other. We got to know each other assessing our palates.
I've always also operated like that.
Yeah. So I think right now I'm doing things differently because I really want to get to know the person before I get in, just also to avoid.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. And my thing is, I'm also like you. Like I've met men who on day 1 will say this, "You're my girlfriend. That's what I want." And it has worked out. The relationship lasted. I think my first relationship with someone who did that lasted 6 years. Another one lasted 2-3 years. So it's something with the intention it lasts. But now there are so many things that Like with my last baby daddy, if we did a talking stage, I would have found out sooner that it was married, you know. So it's just that thing that now where actually maybe we should actually do the talking stage and get to know each other.
Yeah.
But can it not be more than 3 months?
Yeah, it's little things. Like now, you see the talking stage, I'm learning, okay, he's a bad communicator. That's why we're not talking right now, because he's like so horrible at communicating. But he's like a bad communicator, and I'm learning that now. And it would have frustrated me so much singing phone, singing girlfriend, man just like silwe, and it's a whole back and forth. My essay, just not guys. Thank you for watching. Because we're not gonna stop.
We probably said this 4 times now.
We're not gonna stop. Thank you so much for watching. There will be another video on Mandy's channel. She goes by Millennial Mom on YouTube. That is a channel that I'm subscribed to, that I believe in, that I share videos of. That one shared one thing about me. If I love you, I will be in your DMs. You know. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Do you have any last words? Any parting?
No. My parting, I think I said them earlier, to all the single women out there, especially the moms.
I've got mommies here, I've got single mommies here.
Please do not write yourself off because society told you no one's going to love you because you've got a child.
Yeah.
You deserve it, and having a child doesn't make you less worthy or less valuable than the next woman.
Yeah.
Just when I focus on loving your child, but also open up yourself to being loved. You deserve it. Like, you actually deserve it more than anyone because of the love you naturally pour into yourself, into your children and others. Yeah.
Millennial Talks podcast coming soon, 2024. Okay, see you guys.
We have a name.
See you guys. Guys, I love you, and please don't be too mad at me that I was away for 3 weeks. I know.
I'm gonna force her. I'm gonna like literally remind her consistently every week. If I don't see a video in a week, I know her house. I know her house.
To 1,000 subscribers. That means,
Come on now.
guys, I'm close, and you guys are getting me there. So, okay, bye.